I stepped through, not because I was brave, because the cartographer waited and the tether in my chest pulled gentle and insistent, and because Holt said, "He needs to see it." And she was right. The dying man gets sent first. That is the whole point of us. The cold hit me before the light did. Not the dry cold of the cavern. Something wet and wrong, thick as breath on glass. The air tasted of salt and metal and things I had no words for. And the sky was not a sky. It was the color of old bruises, green and purple at the edges, with a sun that was too large and too low, sitting on the horizon like a patient eye. The structures were closer than they had looked. I walked toward them, because the cartographer walked toward them, and because there was nothing else to do. Behind me I heard Rise's boots on the stone, and Bellow's scanner humming, and Holt's breath, and I did not need to turn around to know they had all followed. We had crossed together. The first time a human team had stepped onto another Earth with a door behind them and a purpose ahead. "Distance," Bellow said. Her voice sounded small in that open air. 14 north. We are 14 iterations from origin. That is the coordinate the cartographer circled most, and the structures Ries. Bellow was quiet for a moment. Then, they are not built. They are grown. That was the word. They rose from the plain like teeth from a jaw, ribbed and curved and organic, each one a spiral of something that was not stone and not wood and not anything I could name. They had doorways. They had openings that caught the wrong, collared light. They had been made by something with a body and a will and a sense of beauty I did not share. The cartographer stopped. Its silver form rippled, and through the tether I felt it not fear, not caution. Something older, something like grief. "It has been here before," I said. "Many times. It circled this coordinate more than any other." "It is not circling now," Rais said. She had her sidearm out, not raised. Ready. The cartographer tilted its head toward the structures. Toward the largest of them, a tower that twisted like a shell, its opening facing us like a mouth drawn open to speak. And through the tether, I felt the cartographer's signal change. The cadence of its cartographic record shifted. The heartbeat count slowed, and a word formed in the precursor script, clear and deliberate, the proportions exact. Home. The structure was empty, not abandoned, and the way a house is empty when the owners have stepped out for a moment, expecting to return. The floors were worn smooth by passage. The walls were marked with scratches. I recognized the raw notation of the cartographer's script. Thousands of marks layered over each other, a record of every visit. It had been coming here for millennia, documenting, waiting. "What is this place?" Holt. Her voice was steady, but I saw her hand go to the glyphs on her throat, the dark branching text that had climbed past her collarbone. She was reading it, and whatever she read her face did not like. "Vance." Bellow urgent. "The socket. It is active." I looked. The socket at the center of the structure was not dark. It was pulsing with a faint amber light, the same color as the north face of the door, and in its center a numeral was forming. Not the cartographer's hybrid hand, not the precursor silver, something else. Something rougher. Something that had been written by a hand that did not know the script, copying it from memory, getting the proportions wrong the way the cartographer had before it learned. "It is a countdown," I said, like the one on the origin door. "How long?" "Reese." I read the numeral. My chest went cold. 16 days. The cartographer's silver form rippled. Through the tether, I felt it not grief anymore. Something sharper, something like fear. It had not been waiting here to document. It had been watching, guarding. And whatever it had been guarding against had found the door. Holt read the glyphs on her throat. The Foundation's record. The cartographer was not sent to map the grid for its own sake. It was sent to find the source, the origin of the countdown. The thing that was coming inward towards zero. She looked at me. "I'd found it here, at 14 North, and it has been watching it for millennia." "Watching what?" "Rays." The cartographer moved. It crossed the hollow space in 3 strides, its silver form bending, and it touched the socket with a hand that was not a hand. The amber light flared, and through the tether, I felt the cartographer open something, a memory. A record it had been carrying for longer than I had been alive. I saw it, not with my eyes. With the tether, with the data that lived in my skin now, with the map the cartographer had written onto me, I saw the structure as it had been. Full. Alive. The ribbed walls glowing with the same silver light as the cartographer's form. And in the center, not a socket. A door like the origin door, but smaller, built for something that was not us. And standing before it, a figure made of the same silver light as the cartographer, but older, larger, more complete. The cartographer's voice came through the tether, not in words but in the shape of understanding. The figure was its maker, the Foundation, the precursor who had built the door and mapped the grid, and sent the cartographer outward to survey. And the countdown on the origin door had not been a warning. It had been a rescue. The maker had been here, at 14 North, and something had taken it,